Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. You're welcome to tonight's webinar. It's the we keep going on and on and on and on and on. It's the 61st edition of our webinars. Once again, we give God all the glory for everything He has done and continues to do for all of us. And I must thank you all as well for always keeping faith with us, always keep making it a date, even as we gather together to have these conversations as they relate to the happenings in our country, Nigeria, as we try to profess solutions. Implied, we try to do things differently. Our focus is not necessarily to just bring up the problems, the challenges, and not do anything about them. Implied, we try to, as we're talking about the challenges, the problems, and everything, we also try to put the dimension of looking for the solutions. We try to include that as well. And as things are implied, we try not to take sides. Obviously, we were stridently and implacably opposed to corruption, to injustices, to all the things that are wrong in the system. But when it comes to having opinions as to who is responsible, what solutions are there and everything, we're pretty much open-minded, implied. We do not make it a habit to oppose one side at the expense of the other. We like to hear from all sides of the conversation. And what we then do is leave it in the public domain, in the minds of those who watch, those who listen, to be able to make their own deductions, to be able to make their own conclusions as things may be. Tonight is another night when we're going to be discussing very key issues in the polity. It is impossible to speak of Nigeria without mentioning Lagos State, River State, Kano State, Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory. Now, because of and of course, historically, nothing, as we tell you, you cannot mention Nigeria without mentioning Kaduna, because Kaduna used to be the capital, of the northern region, that's where the Arewa, is. And then you wouldn't talk of the south, where they, of course, used to be called the western region, without mentioning Oyo State, in particular Ibadan, which used to be the capital. And of course, the same thing happened to the eastern region. They will quickly remind you that Enugu, is the capital of the western region as well. So these are critical things. But of course, Lagos is very key because of not just its strategic importance in terms of the location, because Lagos is an entry point for people coming into Nigeria either by air or by sea, and even by road. It's one of the few locations in Nigeria that can boast all of that. But mainly also because of its economic significance to Nigeria, it is still what New York is to the United States. You cannot talk of the United States. Yes, Washington, D.C. might be the District of Columbia. It might be the administrative capital, but New York remains the economic capital, in the same way Lagos remains the economic capital of Nigeria. And that is why when Lagos sneezes, Nigeria catches cold quite a lot of times. And many of us would have read about the issues with the VAT collection. Recently, the River State government took the Lagos State government, the federal government to court to challenge the validity of the current VAT collection system. People call it VAT, but let's just call it VAT for the purposes of this webinar. The current VAT collection system in Nigeria, and of course, a high court in River State, in Port Harcourt, ruled in favor of the River State government that the federal government has no right to collect VAT. And on the basis of that, the River State House of Assembly quickly passed a law, an enabling law, allowing the states to set up VAT collection, and all entities in the state, all corporate entities that pay VAT must, from, of course, the date of the passing of the law, pay VAT straight to the River State government, the River State Board of Internal Revenue or Internal Revenue Service. And of course, the federal government has come out through the Ministry of Finance to warn companies essentially that do not risk double taxation, you know, but of course, VAT is a form of taxation. Do not risk double taxation. That by paying to the River State government, there's every chance that you're going to also have to still pay to the Federal Inland Revenue Service. So you can see companies around there. But I mean, today we're talking of Lagos State. And the fact of it is, it's the highest generating state in Nigeria, you know. And quite a lot of things about Lagos State today. And it is my pleasure tonight that we have a very special guest in our midst who will be, and I really must thank him. I know how busy this man is for always making out the time to do this. I've tried ringing him earlier. I believe it was maybe in a meeting or something. So tonight, it is my pleasure again to introduce to us. Tonight, we're going to be discussing, among other things, but mainly the main across of the topic today is the Lagos Megacity Challenge. Because we've been talking about Lagos being the, you know, of course, we know Lagos is a mega, whether we like it, but the Megacity project in terms of transforming Lagos from the old Lagos of the slums and quite a lot of all those combinations into this mega city where all of us can maybe build it up into a concrete jungle like we called New York. But basically, that's not what we're talking about, the mega city thing. But of course, there are so many challenges. Sanitation remains a huge issue in Lagos. Open defecation, and you will know that some state governments have been enacting laws, and Lagos State government and the Lagos State House of Assembly, open defecation, the sanitation issue. You see the gutters everywhere. You see drainages blocked, and it's a, you know, and of course transportation. Can we actually discuss Lagos without mentioning transportation? All the roadblocks, you know, the state of the roads themselves, and also the number of cars on the road. And of course, we're going to be discussing, you know, the old, even and odd number edicts that Lagos State used to have previously. We're going to be asking our special guest today about some of these things. And of course, we're going to be looking at the traffic management, the drainages, the flooding, the APAPA gridlock. It's one that it's a never-ending problem. And of course, the OMONILE problem in Lagos. I do know many of you, I'm sure that everybody watching this would have known at least one person who has been a victim of this OMONILE scourge. And what are we doing about this in terms of the enabling laws and everything? Those are the things we'll be discussing today. I'm going to be giving, I can see our special guest, I think, so we're just going to give him a few more minutes to be fully set. He's already joined the meeting. But let me just start thanking all in-house panelists this evening. I want to thank those of you who have joined us this evening. Senator Messi, thank you for joining us this evening. With our Sergeant Shola Fayemi, thank you for joining us. We've got Kenny Ogunuga. We've got Adetifa. We've got Bidemi Onojobi. There's someone who's connected on iPhone. I'll try to. And of course, Ms. Oluwatosin Adepoju. And we're still expecting a few more on the in-house panels. Please, strictly, we're doing it a different way tonight, like we already notified. All questions must be passed through the sergeant tonight, because the last time our special guest was there, we could hardly. He was bombarded with questions. In fact, we delayed him beyond when he was supposed to stay, managing a bit more today. So we're just going to go straight into this. Ladies and gentlemen, our special guest today is one of Nigeria's most recognizable creative artists. He's a multiple award-winning writer, actor, producer, and director who has starred in over 200 films, as well as in multiple television shows and soap operas. In 2015, he was elected into the Lagos State House of Assembly as a lawmaker representing Surulere 1 state constituency. He repeated the same feat at the 2019 general elections when, as expected, he was re-elected for a new term of 4 years, which is currently ongoing. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to you our special guest for today, Honorable Desmond Elliot. We'll be zooming on him in a bit. He's just trying to sort out his background. He's already with us once. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce to us this evening Honorable Desmond Elliot. Honorable, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for making it with us again, second time. So over to you.
Thank you.
Let's from you.
Hello. Yeah, hi. How are you? Thank you very much for having me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes,
and
sir.
I must appreciate you because I know, of course, I'm not permitted to put it in the public domain, but I know your schedule. As people will see that he's actually inside a car. He's just all about, but he gave his word he was going to do this. And I want to thank you for making.
I'm actually in the Cameroons right now, and for some official things. And as a matter of fact, the thing totally skipped my memory, so I totally forgot. And then I just got a call, so that's why I'm trying to hook up. So I'm multitasking right now. I crave your indulgence, please.
No problem. Thank you so much, Honorable Desmond. So we just go straight into it. Now, Lagos State. Quite a lot of things going on. Lagos State, we cannot talk of Nigeria without talking about Lagos State. In terms of the VAT revenue of Nigeria, we know the percentage that Lagos contributes. We know the income to this month. And the internally generated revenue of Lagos State actually surpasses the entire allocation from the federal purse for even many states put together. So the importance of Lagos State can never be overstressed. Now, the Lagos State has been trying to attain this megacity. We keep talking about the megacity thing, the megacity project. This is something we have spoken about for quite a long time. But today, Lagos State still has quite a lot of challenges here and there. When you look at, like we mentioned in the intro, sanitation and quite a lot of things. Let us start with sanitation, Honorable Desmond Elliot. Was it 2 weeks ago about open defecation, the law from the Lagos State House of Assembly. We still struggle with sanitation in Lagos. I know that when I was a little boy, we used to have the woles, the health inspectors and everything. But very fashionable today that even when you have this sanitation thing, when people are in the market, they empty the gutters onto the road. And that becomes an even greater problem. After a while, the rains come, they wash them back. Some of them stay on the road and they damage the roads. It is not uncommon to go around under the bridge, Obalende, in so many places you see area boys and the likes openly defecating in the gutters. And sanitation generally is a major issue in Lagos. Honorable Desmond Elliot, what is the problem?
I'm coming.
Thank you so much. What is the main problem with this, Honorable Desmond Elliot? What is the Lagos State government doing as per the House of Assembly in terms of enabling laws and putting systems in place to address the issue, the problem, the challenge of sanitation in Lagos, which of course will lead us towards the flooding, even though I want us to address that on a separate level because it's a big topic on its own. So the sanitation problem in Lagos, what is the root cause? How is the state and government addressing this? Over to you, sir.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, so as I speak, I'd like to say I'll speak to the best of my knowledge. I'm not here as a representative of Lagos State, but as someone who serves in government, and I will speak to the best of my ability and knowledge. The good thing about it is the fact that I'm also, by the grace of God, House Committee Chairman on the environment, parastatals, and agencies. And I believe this subject matter actually falls under my jurisdiction, as far as lawmaking is concerned. Okay, so firstly is to appreciate the fact that Lagos State is not just like any other state, it's a mega city. Lagos State grows in geometric progressions, meaning that where in some other states and climes, even New York, you find just the increase in population coming probably in trickles. In Lagos, you have nothing less than, from a statistics that is yet to be confirmed, as many as over 1,000 people per 3 minutes. And in that 1,000 people that come in, you have more than 70% who decide to become residents. In Lagos State. You are forced with a huge task ahead of you. So the question now is, sorry, please, I'm about leaving. The question now is, how do you sort such a problem out? Now, of course, we have the administration. We also have a situation where resources are limited. You never hear that in Lagos State pensions were not paid. You never hear that workers were owed salaries. You never hear certain things that you hear in other places happen in Lagos State. This serves as huge chunk of revenue. The other thing is the fact that in servicing of debts that have been taken to build Lagos to where it's at today, you understand? Now, I'm not talking about whether we are accountable or not. I can only tell you about how resources go. So there are challenges as to how you can handle infrastructural issues, environmental issues, social issues, all in one space, which is why we've been clamoring for Lagos to have a special status mark. So you treat Lagos as an entity, not a Yoruba state or a Western state, but as an entity with special status to keep. Lagos prides itself as being the fifth economy in Africa. Fifth economy, Lagos State. So as a result, we have all these challenges. But yet, you're also aware that just a month ago, we launched almost 200 new trucks to help with sanitation. Over 200 mega double dyno bins. I was there during the commissioning, and the reason is because we want to have, make sure that sanitation is seen as a serious business. Not only do we have those trucks, we make sure that those trucks were assembled in Nigeria, in Lagos State, in line with the kind of terrain that we have. So we don't have these trucks getting bad. We also have an assembling plant where maintenance will also be taking place. So this is a step in the right direction into having, our dirt and all those things happen. Now, the question is it going to happen immediately? No. Everything has to come gradually. So I cannot tell you in the next 6 months, you will see a totally clean Lagos. New York is not exactly totally clean, So those shanties you talk about are where people illegal, even though everybody who comes to the same state is legal, but people illegally just come into the state and move to the shanties. So they go to places and are not necessarily planned. I'm sure 3 weeks ago, the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, already started in implementation of the laws we did concerning sanitation, shanties, which is clearing of shanties, which I'm sure if you go through Second Toll Gate at Chevron area, you will see where the shanties have been taken down. APAPA, you will see they've taken them down. So
okay. We would expect this quite a few times because he's on the move. Honorable is on the move. So
all of these places you see.
Go on, sir. Okay. We just okay. I can see someone already have their hands raised. I believe Cecilia. I believe Miss Cecilia Dunko. So just okay. He's just trying to reconnect on the road. So we've just got to bear with him today. So just he's reconnecting now. I'm just gonna. Okay.
I'm sorry, I got cut off.
Yeah, okay, so thank you so much, Honorable. So continue, Honorable, just continue from where you stopped.
So I'll just summarize. Now I cannot tell you there is already light in the tunnel, but I can tell you that we're working towards it. At the Lagos State House of Assembly, you know our job is to allocate. We do the purse to let's say, okay. I mean, sometimes budget comes to us. Sometimes budget comes to us, and because we see the need for sanitation, go and check. Not just the environment, having the environment ministry having a huge budget, but LOMA, which is saddled with the responsibility of making sure that Lagos is clean, is actually, I mean, has a huge chunk of that budget, you know. But don't forget, it's just budgetary. It's based on availability of funds, you know. So, and don't forget, pre-COVID, during COVID, post-COVID, a lot of businesses are still trying to come up. And Lagos gets its money from taxes. And now the government is trying its best to get back the tax system going on, but not everybody can get there at the same time. So it's not been too easy, but yes, that's the situation as it is, as far as sanitation is concerned.
Thank you so much. Now, I know you've mentioned sanitation generally, sir. Now, you did make the open defecation is a word, I think, until that phrase is actually addressed in its own way, people will not have that sense of it being addressed as part of sanitation, because Lagos still retains this problem. I know, like I said, I know that there was an enabling law put in place recently, you know, but what steps are being taken particularly in that regard with open defecation?
My brother, number one, lack of education. Number two, we are dirty as a people. As a people. It's not only defecation. Bros, you are walking, you are driving on the road. You see people peeing on the roadside or by the roadside. You see different kinds of things, and you're like, you see people throw dirt from out of the cars. You see all those things. So, my brother, is it everything you want government to do? What about common sense? Just common reasoning. So, you can't expect government to do everything. Even though I feel, and I've always said this, I'm trying to push the bill from my 8th assembly I tried. It's called the Lagos State Orientation Agency. Certain things cannot be in the law. How can you say don't defecate as a law? But in the orientation agency, you see where you can actually talk to people. Sometimes it's not about arresting. It's about talking to the senses of the people, educating them as to what is right and what is not right. You understand? Throwing of things out of the street, out of the cars. You are walking, you throw dirt in the median. You do, man, bros, we dirty. You understand? No, I'm not kidding. We are dirty as a people, unfortunately. And these are traditions and things we've imbibed over the years. You see our gutters and our canals. We do things and we just throw them there. Gutters are blocked. We drink Coke cans and all these things. We throw them in the middle of all these drainages. So, I'm sure you've been abroad by yourself. You don't even need to be told. You cannot roll down your glass and throw something outside, because you see how everything is. Lagos State cleans the streets, even including the defecation and everything. So there's limited task force to handle people passing one way, people going through BRT, people doing these vehicles that are not supposed to be on the road to be on the road. We now have to handle people defecating on the road. So we have to station people to arrest them, because you can't tell when this man is going to defecate on the road or not. You understand? So I think it's culture that needs to change, a norm that needs to change. And unless we begin to take it seriously, it cannot stop even when government tries to enforce it. And don't forget, new people come into Lagos every day. You know, you don't see them openly defecate in Surulere, for instance, but except all those black spots, dark areas, and stuff like that. But there are so many other communities where you see people defecating and peeing. You know, you can just be driving, you see one guy standing up and unzipping and just doing that. I just shake my head. I say, what is this? You know? So it's something we all collectively, what stops you as a person to just say, why are you doing this? You know, why are you doing this? So I just feel it's not everything that should be left to government to enforce and handle and punish and throw into jail and stuff like that. I'm just thinking so that we can focus on the youth, how to build a stronger nation, how to build a community that we all will be proud of. You know, it's just my thought. I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying it's my thought. But yes, what I think we can do again is bring up, like, we have personal communication. So you can tell me if you maybe heard from anyone where areas where this thing is actually serious. So we'll take it up in the house and we bring it to the floor, bring it to the floor of the house. Mr. Speaker, Mudashiru Obasa is one who listened, and I'm sure with something we'll talk about and call the appropriate agency to handle and enforce, you know, appropriately.
Thank you so much, Honorable Desmond Elliot. And I love that angle that you talked about, common sense from each and every one of us towards this common problem, because it is a common problem, and it does actually help us more if all of us can apply that towards it in terms of holding one another accountable. So if someone is doing it, and I love what you said about government cannot simply do everything. You know, but the government can provide the enabling laws, the enabling environment, but ultimately the solution actually lies with us. And this leads me to the issue of drainages. Of course, now we have a famous man being the special advisor to the governor on that. You know, every time they call him the special man, the personal assistant on gutters, and you know, and he takes it very lightly. And he's Honorable Igokwe, who is in charge of the drainages and everything. Now the drainages, the flooding. The last time we saw the videos and the pictures from the flooding in places like, of course, we're used to seeing Lekki. I know everybody makes jest of Lekki, but we saw Marina, we saw Broad Street, we saw all the cars swimming. It was almost of biblical proportions, of as if it was Noah's all over it. Now, the many areas designated as drainages, people have erected things on them. I know for a fact because I've seen quite a lot of erect shops on them. They block it off, and places where these things are supposed to go into the canals, even the canals themselves, many main outlets leading into the canal have actually been blocked. I know that already said the government alone cannot do this, but also citizens do not have the power of enforcement. For example, let me give you an example. I actually rang up a friend who is my old classmate who used to be the chairman of the task force in Lagos. Is moved to another role within the almost the same system. And I rang him up. Then, you know what, there's this and this and this. He said, you cannot go there. I said, what's the problem? He said, because of those boys, if they start that area, government will start that, you know what, so you need to go through your LCDA first. Your LCDA will now reach them somehow. And, you know, people just said to me, you know what, Mr. Ocean, just leave and don't manage it. Because one, they had the issue of noise pollution, because people are just come to the road and actually taking off the road, the gutter, they into a major drainage area, and they've erected illegal shops there, smoke Indian weed, music. If you cannot call the police, if you cannot speak with the task force, environmental task force, you know, they are powerless to undo this. So that's why to you tonight as one of the issues that drainages in Lagos. According Honourable Desmond Elliot, what is the
solution? My brother, let's look at Lagos State. Let's start with SURULERE.
Yes, sir.
Okay, are you listening to me, sir? All right. In the 50s, when they were creating New Lagos, and I'm sure because you also stay in SURULERE, you knew a lot of people were moved from the island into SURULERE. We were moving into a waterlogged community. SURULERE was waterlogged. Adeniro, Gusonya, all those areas were waterlogged. From history, they will tell you. So you're already in a place that is water prone or flood prone. And that does not take away from what Lagos is. You understand? We now have a society where people take laws into their hands. You are located 60 by 60 feet, for instance. You move ahead and you build on, you go past the sidewalk and build on drainages. You block drainages, you block paths. A small example, in one of my communities, I was called to help with the drainage situation there. I brought the Ministry of Drainage and the ODS, Office of Drainage Services, to the place. And we discovered that almost all the residents had built backyards over the drainages. And we told them, we said, for this to happen, we have to break everything. And they refused. So the problem is not just the drainages there. It's the fact that we have built and blocked a lot of these places. Now, please, before I start accusing people, I not accuse government. So let me go to government now. We must have a maintenance culture because we realize that there is a triple effect, an influx of people into the state to create residents. We must make sure that all these drainages are cleared. I can tell you categorically that they've been doing a lot of efforts, especially during the dry season, to clear this path. But it's just a tip of the iceberg. It's not enough. So it's an effort that we both must do. Once government moves in and breaks those places, you find out that they are calling all the government officials they know. Elliot, they are trying to break this thing. Can you intervene? Can you do this? The moment you don't now, you become the enemy of that person. It has to be government will to make sure that anybody who has contravened the law or the given space, all those structures should be brought down. All those structures should be brought down. Otherwise, we suffer. Now, may I state that there is nothing wrong in having floods. Please don't misquote me. But it is the speed at which those floods, those waters go back into the ocean or whatever it is that really matters. My reason is because you go to places like New York, there are floods. Go to many developed climes, you see floods. But you see, because they have this underground drainage, that within the hour, everywhere becomes dry again, which is what we do not have. Also, because we did not expect the kind of growth in Lagos State, we should start looking beyond just the kind of drainages we have and start looking towards those underground drainages that makes it very difficult for you people to cause blockades, you know. So it should be a work in progress, and it's a good thing you're bringing this to the fore. Yeah, we will start discussing, but I know in some areas they're already doing, sub drainages, so that as rain comes, it just goes down and it goes down without having them fill up like we have today. But a solution, please, I'm sorry if I tell you I don't have a solution.
Thank you so much, Honourable Desmond Elliot. I must, you did make mention of something during, you said, got communication with you, but I know I can say very, very publicly, in my dealings with you in the time I've come to have direct contact with you, never had that feeling that I'm dealing with a politician. You're always there, you know what? So you're busy. I know that I cannot expect to, but I really, really want to thank you because, and I can say that very, very rarely. Honourable Desmond Elliot has already said, when people know of things, we should be able to find a way to bring it to the attention of others in government, because it's not the only one anyway. You know, others, your representatives, your even at the local level, the way to pass these things to them. Thank you so much. We're going to leave that issue. Of course, we're going to take. We're going to go into the issue of the transportation system in Lagos. Obviously, from the Buhari regime, when the military government back cancelled the Lagos metro system project, I'm not sure that Lagos has recovered. Now, and I also know now all the way to Federal Road, but the people in fact, Mile 2, Amaza, and all the way down to Okoko and all those things, life is hell. Then when you now look at the APAPA bridge, which I believe is a federal one as well, but under the jurisdiction of Lagos, because that's within Lagos. Many of us who are seeing APAPA, you know, many of us, this is one of the things I'll consider when I'm looking for where to set up home in Lagos. Today, if someone is dashing me home, I'll be scared to take it because life is hell for those people. The traffic system, the roads in Lagos. I know the Lagos State government. I must commend the government for groundbreaking the Adenija, the Children's Hospital, the new massive, all the things going. But when you speak to the residents of these areas, Honourable Desmond Elliot, they almost believe that there's no government. If for what government is doing, the roads, the traffic, the transportation system. Of course, I don't want us to mix them together. Maybe we should just take the roads first of all, and then we'll come back to the transportation, which the modes of transportation and everything. But looking at the roads themselves, why can we not unlock this APAPA bridge conundrum? Because time for a few days, and Papa, in fact, one of our members there, Cecilia Ifom, she told me she works in APAPA with one of the oil companies. She actually drove down to APAPA in less than 15 minutes. It was APAPA all the way to the bridge, all the trucks, everything, going down to the road all the way to Festa, Mile 2, Okoko, it's hell. What is the Lagos State government doing? Well, I know you said you're not, and I have to come back to that again, that you're not as a representative of the Lagos State government. But it's possible for, unfortunately, the way it is when Honourable Elliot speaks on movies, everybody sees him as a representative of the Nollywood industry. You cannot divorce it. And when you speak on governance, people see you as a member of an arm of the Lagos State government. What is the government doing?
Wow. All right. Thank you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay, because the line keeps keeping on coming back. All right. So I think you mentioned two major places: the Badagry, the Okoko Expressway, and then the APAPA bridge.
Yeah.
So let me talk about the Badagry Road. We had the opportunity to be with Mr. Governor about a month and a half ago. I'm talking of the honorable members being led by Mr. Speaker, And when we were raising different concerns from our community, the honorables that represent those areas, Ojo, Victor Akonde, but because every honorable within that axis cannot speak, so one person has to speak. And just like we always do, the honorable member reiterated their major concern. It was not even a joke. In April, we had a parley between the State House of Assembly and the executive, where the issue came up again. But there was a clearer picture as to where the challenges were. Indeed, it is clear, and everybody should realize that those areas are federal roads, first and foremost. Lagos keeps pouring resources into federal roads. And don't forget, the money is not everywhere. If we spend so much on those resources within the budget, where will they get the resources to give the healthcare you're talking about, to do the little bit of security we are seeing, just a little bit, and touch on other areas? It is, I can tell you categorically, that the governor, the deputy, and Mr. Speaker are terribly having sleepless nights as to the issue of Badagry / Okoko. As to government, what is going on? How come today we have promised, tomorrow there's no promise? The governor has promised, like he did to Honorable Victor Akonde. There's a particular place he says they can amend, which is from Lagos State, and start dealing with them in batches. He realizes, he knows, government knows, we know. So, I won't lie to you, it's a problem that has come for too long. And, you know, I just feel, sometimes I just get disappointed. From the turn of the Fourth Republic, we've been building Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. I repeat, from the turn of the Fourth Republic, that is 1999. This is 2021. We are still on Lagos-Ibadan Expressway. That is the kind of country we live in. You understand? So you wonder what is going on. So, but as a state is a state. It can never be more than a state. They don't get money from the oil, So it's within that bit. But I know that the governor engages with the federal government all the time on this Okoko micro. We know what Lagos is losing in terms of resources because of the time spent on the road. For the APAPA bridge, I won't lie to you. I think if you go to the Lagos State of Assembly, you will see at least 3 motions and matters of public importance raised by myself concerning these trucks at the floor of the House. Don't forget, we are lawmakers. The best we can do is make resolution and make noise about it, But until APAPA Express is completely done, so that those trucks can be going, and we get a space for those trucks to be staying, Another thing I would have loved to see is instead of imploding as a state, we should explode. Because we're doing more of imploding rather than moving out. Look at Abuja today. Not everybody you will see at the center. I'm sorry to say. I'm not saying it to insult or feel anyway. But not everybody should be. You can find your way. Look at the UK. It's not everybody that is inside London now. Some are different areas, Milton Keynes, all those areas, and they work in London. You understand? So we should start looking at having bilateral treaties like we are already starting to have with a lot of Ogo states, especially Ogo State, to build low-cost houses so people can come into town and then leave. Make sure our waterways are very effective, especially our waterways. I mean, I was in Seattle some years ago, and I could see how you transport cars and transport people, and it's a very effective system. And don't forget, Nigerians with our smartness, the quickest 500,000, we are going to look for a Tokumbo car to buy. So we're increasing in cars. The traffic is harrowing. It drives me crazy and every other person. So we have to look for other alternatives in this ever-growing city. You know, and then people of average status, if you can't afford to come into the metropolis, you know you can come through your bus or through the water, and then you go back home seamlessly. So those are things I believe looking forward before 2050, we should start looking at that kind of Lagos. You know, that kind of Lagos. So let's see. Let's hope it happens.
Thank you so much. That was really very engaging, you know, and I'm happy you addressed it. I'm hoping everybody that, because we've had a lot of feedback, a lot of preemptive strikes, quote and unquote, from people in those zones who are as far and
sorry, can I say something? I'm sorry. I'm sorry to cut you short. This will always bring me back to what I've always said from day one. The building of a society involves everybody. The politician, the non-politician. You must get involved in policy making. You must get involved in governance. We have many people who have the idea that are not even in government. So many. I can only talk to my entertainment industry people when I see them. I say, come, you can enter. Oh, you are from River State. Go to your state and practice politics. Go to your state, because if you leave everything to politicians and all we do is talk. I was tired of the talk. That was why I decided to come and try my best. So it revolves around new ideas, fresh ideas. What can you bring to the table? How can you grow your city your own way? So I believe the greatest joy would be having new ideas, new people come in and from, I'm not just talking about Lagos, I'm talking generally. Because we live in a country where if we don't do it, we keep recycling the same ideas and people. You know, that's not to say, you see, experience is very important, and we have a lot of people that experience. We also live in a society where people prefer to misconstrue what you've said and misunderstand you as against saying, okay, what exactly is he saying here? That is why, with this word I've said, if it goes out tomorrow, you say Desmond is saying they should remove all the politicians. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. I am just saying that fresh ideas, new ideas should come. Even if you can't be in government, either by elected positions or selected positions, you can help in policy making. What you're doing is something that can add value, because you're bringing people that can talk about the situation. But I'm tired of talking about the ills of a country or a state without saying, this is what I will do. This is how we can do it. A few months ago, they did something on the months and the security. There was a bit of insecurity. And almost every 2 weeks, you have business owners having meetings concerning security. And everybody, and it's a growing thing, everybody's beginning to get ready as to how to curb the insecurity in that axis. If government sees it, government can say, okay, let's support. You know. So my point is, we must start being proactive. Do less talk, do less of delay, talk. And say, okay, there's an election coming up in 2023. I want to participate. Either by making sure my vote counts, becoming a policy maker, or whoever is nominated, I make sure I sell ideas to him and I make sure he picks from the ideas. That is part of growth. That's how we can build Rome. So, sorry for cutting.
No.
My battery is about to die. My battery is about to die.
Oh my God. Just keep pumping as much as we can. Lose you, we know we lost. I need us to quickly go into the transport system. Sadly, during the NSA riots, they burnt down quite a lot of the buses. The government is the lights with them, and of course, but Lagos means place to navigate. You cannot be in Lagos Island if someone indicate 1 o'clock for 2 o'clock. It's not guaranteed you will make it. Of course, other countries where it's actually rule rather than and I know that going on, you have even number and I do, for example, if I was coming from out of Lagos and they came to pick me, we had to park somewhere on the fringes of Lagos till like 6 p.m. on certain days. On days, I remember then that we can't drive that car on Tuesdays.
The line is breaking up. Seriously.
Huh?
The line is breaking up.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, so I hear you stop, and then I can't. So I'm trying to join the words I can't hear. So I don't know why.
I was talking about the odd and edicts that we used to have in Lagos in the past to control traffic.
So are you saying should that come back?
No, I'm not
saying
asking
if that can come back.
I'm not saying if that can come back, but what steps is the government taking in different areas to try to the issue? Because you talked about, when you were speaking earlier, you talked about the average person that gets 500,000 naira in Lagos, he quickly gets a car. So the cars keep getting, and those are fun. You cannot deny anyone. But and Lagos, the roads are not necessarily expanding in terms of the road network. What is the government thinking of? What is the government looking at in trying to solve these serious problems that is actually costing the economy of the state billions of dollars annually?
Okay, so this is why you hear that nobody benefits from war, because you can never get a winner or a loser. The people, for instance, when we burnt a lot of these buses, it wasn't the rich man in Kogi that was going to suffer for it. It wasn't. It was us. We are the ones who are going to suffer for it. Though, because Lagos won, we'll have to replace those buses, and the money will come from resources you've gotten as revenue. And guess what? When everything was happening, I said, you just only empowered the rich. Because if they are going to give a contract, the contract is not going to you, neither is it coming to me. It's still going to the rich man that brought them from Brazil in the first place. So we end up just enriching the man who was already in Ikoyi or Banana Island enjoying himself. So nothing wrong with protesting. But why send us back 30 years because you're unsatisfied with something. So protest peacefully. But remember that these facilities can be replaced, but we are going to lose a lot by replacing them. The issue on these cars now, I was in Brazil about 7-8 years ago, Sao Paulo, and they still operated on that odd number and even number thing. As a matter of fact, you know that when there's peak period, one side of the road is having heavy traffic, the other side has less traffic. So in Brazil, what they've done is when there is heavy traffic on one side, they create another lane in the less traffic area to accommodate and aid. That's what they do in Sao Paulo. That was like 8 years ago when I was there. I'm not sure that's possible in Lagos, because to start with, our roads are not that wide. I think the highest we can get is maybe 3 lanes per side, or maybe 4 lanes at best. So we need to create alternative ways of transportation. We need to create societies that have car parks so that we don't have cars blocking roads. So when you come, you can park, let me give an instance in Surulere. You can park at Eagles Club, for instance, and you are actually walking, and you walk. Park at Eagles Club, pay your 10 kobo, and walk all the way to Chita Roundabout, which is not more than 2 kilometers maybe. Just, I mean, in the UK, everybody treks. So walk there. When you finish, go and take your car. So major areas so that the roads are devoid of, they are turning 2 lanes to 1 lane. There's traffic. See, you don't know that it builds up to the express. Because if you can't let people flow freely in the inter-roads, it affects the express. Now, that is just one of the many problems. The other one is creating alternatives. You are going to the island, you are in APAPA or that axis. Go through the water. You stay in Naja, you are going to Ikorodu. Go through the water. You know, go through the water. Do your business. Come back, take your car, and go home. You know, so by the time you limit that, you understand. So anybody going to Ikorodu, you create another jetty, maybe at Alakere. So that handles Ogudu, 7up, Alausa. You understand? So you can do all of these things so that people who use the major roads and then high occupancy vehicle, which is HOVs, like you have in bigger clients, where you actually pay, where if you have in your car, you have 2 or 3 people, maybe 3 people, they call it high occupancy. When there are 3 people, you can only take this lane. So you can say, if we all live in, let me see, Chevy View Estate, and we all work in the same place. So 1 car, instead of 3 people taking 3 cars, you have 1 person being in 3 cars. I mean, 1 person being 3 people being in 1 car, and they go through that path. It becomes a crime. It becomes an offense if you go through that lane. You know, so I'm thinking these are ways it happens in America. So I'm just thinking, by the time we do this, it will not stop. It will not stop traffic. Don't get me wrong, but it might help alleviate the situation. You know, so you too, if you have suggestions too, you are the convener and you can also suggest. You know what I mean? So it's not limited to the man who works in government.
Thank you so much, Desmond. You've taken on your Nollywood cap. You know, that's who you are. Nollywood. Okay, I know you've already spoken about your battery. I'm hoping that battery can give us about 25 minutes with you and all. Just quickly, the OMONILE issue. A lot of our members, they do not allow them to ask you. You know, so OMONILE is at least every we know one person who has either lost their life or, been maimed, lost their savings just because they're trying to have extension we're talking about, trying to get in the new area to extension, the most especially is an area where then of course the issue with the state of all the the bit of that the government, I'm not saying that Baba isn't doing anything about it, but I know that the government of the former governor, that government actually made a lot of noise. I stress that they made a lot of doing more in that. But what they're doing is that millions of Lagos are thinking about those things. A free reign. Nothing done. Most people take them to the police agencies, they're out. That themselves and God for us all. What is the Lagos State of House of Assembly of enabling law actually tackle very critical issues?
We have the law. We have the law on land grabbers. We have the motions. We have the law is there. We have it. It's enforcement. In fact, there's an agency called the Land Grabbing Agency. No, it's not called the Land Grabbing Agency. There's a department, I think it's under finance, that deals with land grabbing. But land grabbers, don't forget.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm hoping he did talk about his phone. I'm hoping he will come back because it's very critical. We allow our members to be able to ask questions, and I know a lot of you have got questions there and there. So I'm hoping that we'll just wait for him, and I'm sure he will join us again. But I'm just going to go to our Secretary General right now. I believe quite a lot of questions would have gone to his office. So, General Secretary, can you take the floor whilst we're waiting for Honourable Desmond Elliot to rejoin us? Can we know about some of the questions that people have posed? Secretary.
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Convener. Hope my background is not too noisy.
It's a bit noisy. Honourable Desmond too is because I think it's gone.
Okay, all right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, as it is currently, we don't have questions from our members regarding the issues we are discussing. But I think, nevertheless, yes, the discussion and the deliberation has been robust. It has been enlightening, and at the same time, it has given us hope of having a better megacity, of having a Lagos state of our dream. I wish I know that because many of us are expectation. But can I make my comment later, please? Just a few minutes. I won't want to distract the whole house.
Okay. So comment. Okay, so I'm going to go to our in-house panelists right now whilst to rejoin us. So I'm going to go to you. We're waiting. Once he rejoins, we're watching all the connections. Once he rejoins, we just zoom on him straight away. It's on official assignment, so that's the most I can say. So basically, is the connection is a bit also is about this. Basically, I'm going to go to our in-house panelists. Those of you who have questions, who have comments, this is the opportunity you have, and I'm going to start with Comrade Ayele, Comrade Lukman Ayele. So let's have your take on why you are an operative of the Lagos, and so quite a lot of the things spoken about will not alien, will not be unknown. The perspective of quite a lot of this. So let's hear from you.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. Sir, concerning the environmental issue, there's something I want to chip in, which is we all believe that everything should go to the central, which to me I don't really believe in that as a personal note. But we have local governments. What are they doing? For example, if you have people along Agege, between Agege to Fagba here, there's a particular area along that road before you get to Jongo. Every year, whenever there's heavy rain, the rain will be all over that. When you cannot even walk. It's major road, so you cannot even walk during rainy season.
Where did you call the area? You said Agege to Fagba, right? Did you say Agege to Fagba?
Yes. When you are going from Agege, before you get to Jongo, along that road, that particular road, it's every year, and they are saying, what I'm saying is, okay, we understand the fact that people do pour most of their debt from whenever during rainy season. We understand, but what is the local government doing? What is the temporary solution to places like that? We have in some other places that are experiencing such situation. They should be doing rainy season. Local government should see it as a responsibility for them to be find a way in which they can pass all those debts within this canal. Yes, we need more drainage, a deep one. Since we don't have it, that's the temporary solution during rainy season, so that they won't just be suffering people anyhow. During rainy season, people will not be able to pass. Most vehicles will park. They won't be able to go. And it happens in various areas. Local government should be parking them, offloading them during rainy season. I think this is one of the temporary solutions in that aspect. Then somebody mentioned the APAPA issue. Sir, APAPA issue, I don't know what is happening. I don't know if it is the federal or the state. Apart from the bad roads, those tankers, do they have a parking space? Major issue in APAPA, because I've once worked in my trip. I work with the state BIS. I've worked in my trip that I go there every morning. And my trip is very close to APAPA, for those that know the area. Those tankers, do they not have a parking space? And if they don't have, why can't government get them a parking space? Why will they be parking on the major road and be disturbing commuters that are passing through that road? This is a mega city. So I believe government have a better solution to that. They're only suffering people. They are suffering commuters that are passing through that road, which is not good. Tankers will pass on both sides of the major roads. And this GRIDLOCK has been there for years. I'm telling you that I worked in my school. That was three years ago now, before I left. And this thing is still happening. They are aware of it. So there are temporary solutions to every issue. So I don't know if they have federal backing or if they don't want to listen or give, and most of those tankers, to be sincere with you, even in terms of them registering their vehicles, having the normal papers, most of them they don't have. And they always see themselves as above the law. Even on the road, they will not stop when you are trying to stop them. So there are many issues, there are many questions. Who is giving them all these backings? So let me stop from there. Maybe when Honourable Desmond is back, along the line we continue, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Comrade Lukman Ayole. I'm happy that you give that perspective, because I know. Now, before you go, I need to ask you, because I know you're a senior person in the traffic section of the Lagos State Government, traffic department of the Lagos State Government. In terms of roadworthiness of cars, because one of the major issues that that actually cause quite a lot of the traffic bottlenecks and the terrible traffic situation across the state is actually the state of the cars themselves that drive on that road. Quite a lot of times cars break down, trucks in particular. It is not uncommon to see trucks, freight trucks, trucks that are loading cement, loading this, loading sugar, loading salt, loading, they break down, or even tankers transporting water, even tankers carrying diesel, petrol. What is the government doing in order to ensure that? What is your department, from what you know, what is your department doing in order to ensure that the roadworthiness of cars is actually given the seriousness it deserves, so that at least our roads can be a lot safer? Comrade Ayole.
I'm with you, sir.
Yeah, so
concerning that, sir. All right, sir. Continue, sir.
About the vehicle inspection office, the VIOs and all those people, of course, they were enemies of quote and unquote. The people don't like VIOs because quite a lot of the VIOs themselves in glory. Yes. Of them will be out there, and it is the same bribery and corruption that we complained about from the police, from last month, from so many public agencies, that some of them, we must stress, just some of them also do. So what is really happening? How is your department happening?
Yeah. All right, sir. Thank you, sir. I didn't get some of your points due to network, but I could pick. You talk about vehicle breaking down the road. Those that are registering their vehicles, that are doing roadworthiness, will be aware of this. That after registering their, taking their road, they will receive a message through third party. But if you go directly and your phone number is used, you will receive a message that you should go for to one of our services.
Comrade Ayole, can you start again? We didn't hear you. We lost you there. So can you start again?
The network is bad. All right, sir. I said those that do go to office directly to register their vehicles to obtain roadworthiness certificate. After registering the vehicle, except those that go through third party that don't go directly, they might not. But if you use your phone number to register it, you tell you to any of our testing centers. Which those testing centers, we have it. Not all the local government have, but at least you get one close to your local government. You are there you will go there and take your vehicle along for a free test. You are not paying for it. Within 31 days of registering, of obtaining that roadworthiness certificate, you will get a free test. Computer test, I mean, the engine, the brake, the steering, everything, just to ensure that vehicle is roadworthy. But most people, they ignore it. Most of them, they don't go for that test. So that arrangement is there by is an initiation of the BIS, which is the government has really worked on it, and they build enough testing for people to go into it. 1 days after that, but within 31 days, you can go for free test, and you get the certificate. They will tell you where you have issues with your vehicle, that you should go and rectify it. But out of scare, I don't know, because some people do complain if they will hold my car down. Nobody will hold your car down. They only give you the certificate that, okay, sir, your jail.
Okay, thank you so much. I believe his connection is not holding up. We've been disrupted a bit by connection issues this afternoon. So. Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much, Comrade Lukman Ayole. Thank you so much. I believe it's a connection that is really, really faulty now. So just so that we can. Okay, I'm not sure you can hear me anyway.
Do it. Then.
Okay, his connection is not holding up, so it's and I can note. I did notice quite a few of you having to, come in and go out back again as well because of connection issues. So I'm just going to give a room for a few comments here and then, maybe like 3 people at the most, because we must finish on time. And if we don't get Honorable Elliot back on time, I will make sure that tonight, at least we can compensate for the last 2 weekends where we actually went over time for quite a while. We'll probably try to finish ahead of time tonight. He's out and about, so I'm hoping he finds a place to charge the phone and come back online. So Honorable Comrade Elliot, I can see your back, but we'll just move on to other people. Let's see the DSG2. Kenny Okunuga, have you got a comment or have you got a perspective on this that you want to share with us all? Comrade Kenny Okunuga. Okay, we'll just go past them.
Good evening, sir. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, Mr. DSG. How are you today?
Fine, sir. And thanks for this program again. And I want to give a special thanks to Honorable Desmond Elliot. Despite his busy schedule, he still found time to attend this program, this meeting. So that brings to bear the importance that how he sees us implied, and the honor, the respect that he gives, that he accords some of our leaders implied. God will continue to strengthen him. One of the statements he made that actually attracted, that I actually underlined, was he's always very angry. He's always very unhappy. Each time he sees people peeing by the roadside. And I would have loved to ask him if he was here, that is the government thinking about creating or providing public toilets, for the citizens, for residents of Lagos, considering our struggling economy, our struggling nature. Lagos, we cannot compare Lagos. Lagos is, though we call it Megacity, but you cannot call it, that is to the Nigerian standard. You cannot really call it, if we have to define what a mega, even what a city is. A city must have good roads, but by Nigerian standard, it is a city and it is close to the mega city because it's still better than many parts. But then he also mentioned, how London, for instance, is not congested, and how people prefer to live in the surrounding cities. And when he said that, when he made that statement, I remember that sometimes ago, the President of the United States said, I think I even read, that throughout the time he was a senator and when he was even vice president, he was going to Washington from California through train. And it now calls, we seriously have to address the transport network of, it is not about housing. Let Ogun State build, 10 million housing units very close in Mowe. It will not still solve the problem because it has to do with the preference of the people. People prefer to live in those places around London because they are assured, they have the assurance that just within 20, 30, 25 minutes, they can get to their workplace. There is no hold up. The train is there. They can take taxi. But in Lagos, you cannot try it. So people who work in Lagos, even who have houses, there are people who have houses in Mowe, but who do not live in Mowe. So it is not about having housing unit very close to Lagos, although that will also, contribute a quota. But largely, we have to solve the transport situation. We have to address the transport situation of our country. You cannot take the entire country as a whole. At least a state like Lagos, that even people outside the country, still regard. We can make it a good example in terms of health infrastructure, transport network, and all of, even in terms of, yes, social activities, people peeing on the roadside, there can be penalties. Now in Nigeria, you hardly see people putting on their face mask. But they cannot try it elsewhere. In developed countries, they cannot try it. You cannot walk on the streets without putting on your face mask. How people also see the law, the law that governs them also matters. In Nigeria, we can rationalize anything. You can say that, just ask someone on the street, why are you not putting on nose mask? In fact, people want to talk to you, and before they can, they will remove their face mask because they want to talk to you. They are assuming you will not hear them well in Nigeria. But in developed countries, someone else passing by will call you that this person, because it is not about you. If the entire place shuts down, it will affect the person. If there is coronavirus everywhere, if people, choose to live carelessly, so the careless life that people live in Nigeria, will not only affect them. The consequence will affect industries. The consequence will affect companies. Will affect workers. Will affect even our struggling economy. It will affect everybody. So people should begin to see Nigeria as a nation that is owned by all, and a nation that must be protected, not only by the leaders, even by the followers. And that in our own rights, whether as a follower or as a leader, we have responsibilities, we have duties, we have our obligations to protect the country. So the transport situation has to be fixed, else we'll just continue to discuss. I was in Benin Republic some time ago, and I marveled that was my first time there. And I just was like, even the minor roads, you would hardly see all these dusty roads, let alone gallop. From Port Novo, you can be working in Cotonou and be living in Port Novo. Port Novo to Cotonou is about, by car, it's about 35 minutes. So people who choose, so if I decide, if I'm working in Cotonou, if I'm working in Cotonou, I can decide to live in Port Novo because I am assured, I have the assurance that if my work starts by 8, I can leave my house by 7 o'clock and I will not be late to the office. So there are so many things that we have to put together in addressing this thing. It's not just taking it from the surface and say that the state should build some housing units. How about the housing units that are already close to Lagos and that people are not even living in? There are people who work in Oshodi, but whose houses or whose family houses are in, for instance, Ikotu or very far place like that. But they will prefer. But some of them left, they started their family houses and have now come to Mowe or very near Mowe to build houses because they are sure that no matter the nonsense that may happen between their maybe Ikotu or whatever to Oshodi, cannot be compared on a good day to when so people are putting all these things into consideration, the transport and the congestion of Lagos. Lagos will continue to be congested because it appears to be the only state that people can have access to more opportunities. Why Nigerians go abroad is for opportunities. So why somebody from my village also will go to Lagos is because he cannot access opportunity in my village like he can access in Lagos. So somebody from my village may prefer, although there's a family house in our village that I can always sleep free of charge, but he may prefer, because dreams carry people and dreams can be crazy. He may prefer to be living under a bridge in Lagos, and be, struggling, hustling, making money, and then when there is one Ileya or one Ile-Odun, he now goes back to the village to do big boy. At least he'll be sending money to the grandma in the village, and siblings around him will be enjoying. The Igbos that are in Lagos, some of them also have their houses in Abia. But how many people will buy shoe in Abia? The Igbos that are selling shoe, that are selling TVs, electronics in Lagos, how many people will patronize them in Abia? So many of them are coming to Lagos because it is a center of excellence and is a center of opportunity. The recent government, not only Lagos State government will not do it alone because Lagos State cannot be isolated from other states around it. So the burden is on Lagos State. So the government of the country must focus Lagos and must see Lagos not as just any state, but like the headquarters, but like the headquarter annex, let's call it annex of this country. Today, in the federal ministries, in the categorization in the structure of ministries or federal government agencies, for instance, Nigerian Postal Service, we have Ibadan zone. Ibadan zone comprises of about 5 to 6 states, including Kwara State is added. They decide to add Kwara State to Ibadan zone, Southwest State, and remove Lagos. So Lagos is a zone, is a region on its own. The same thing applies when it comes to even the Nigerian army. Lagos State is a division, is a zone on its own, zone 2, is a zone on its own. Whereas 5 or 6 other states will be combined, to form a zone or a division in police, in DSS, and even any agency owned by the federal government. So if the federal government can be doing that with their ministries, we have to be sincere. What kind of recognition are they or is the federal government giving to Lagos? We should not be looking at it from this perspective that the Lagos State is generating, money. The more the revenue that the Lagos State generates, the more the burden is on the more the burden that is on the state. Let's go to the teaching service. No state in the Southwest has more teachers than Lagos. Just about 4 or 5 months ago, Lagos State government employed teachers in thousands. My sister was a beneficiary. Just about 2 months ago or some weeks ago, the same Lagos State government who employed teachers in some other states, they will employ 5,000 teachers in their first year, and they will not employ again. And that is what they will be using, to say that will be the only thing they will be using to, to get people's trust. They will continue to say it for their 4 years that this government has employed 5,000 teachers. But Lagos State government is not doing that. You are not even hearing it in the news. Some weeks ago, it is prepared again. I saw it in the news that Lagos State government, was requesting people to apply for teaching positions. So the body is, sometimes I pity them. I pity them because some of these situations can actually be resolved or be solved together. But we are seeing, maybe we continue to see Lagos as a state or Lagos as a state because, we all call their heads governors. Some special attentions need to be paid to Lagos, who has a governor, but in its rights, the governor is a president.
Thank you so much. Wow, those were very deep perspectives. Thank you so much, Comrade Okunuga. You're almost like guest speaker for today. That was brilliant. You touched on a lot of areas, and you raised very, very salient points, especially the issue of choice. That it's not just about building the houses. What about if people do not want to live in those areas? For example, if my office, for example, was on Victoria Island, I will be looking for an opportunity to find somewhere around the island as well, or in Lekki, at least somewhere that I'll be very near to close to the office, because I wouldn't expect myself to be coming all the way from, let's say, Jew, for example, quote and unquote. I'm just using that as an example because of the distance, all the way because of the traffic and everything in the morning and even in the evening when you're coming back home. Thank you so much for that wonderful perspective. I hope we can still find a bit of time to get across to you. We really appreciate you. So I'm just going to go to ASG. Kenny, have you got a perspective on this? ASG Kenny. I'll just move over him straight away because we need to. I'm hoping that we can finish a few minutes before time today. Now, Comrade Ayole, I'm going to go to Adetifa first before coming back to you, because the Sergeant has raised some issues in the chats. Quite a lot of questions there for you because of your department within the Lagos State government. But let me go to Adetifa first. Adetifa, have you got anything to say to this? Have you got any perspective?
Yeah, good evening to everyone. I really appreciate this session, especially what Honourable Desmond Elliot said. I think he has already shed more light on, let me say, most difficulties that we Lagosians what we are facing. I would just like to talk about the issue of defecation on public area, and I think maybe the government still have to do more. You know, and I can cite an example that probably most of the public toilets are not even functioning well. Even they are substandard. I can mention few of the standard toilets that even they are not even operating anymore now. Especially one at the beggar bus stop. I could remember, you know, yesterday I passed that place that I was like, oh, let me just try to use it to just urinate before I with my movements. I think everywhere is being locked. Even when it's still working, I'm not sure there is proper maintenance in those aspects. So before they can, even if we are clamoring that they should create a law to enforce a law on people, you know, just be messing up the environment. At least there should be proper infrastructure, and after that there should be a good orientation processes, which it might be very, very difficult as well because of the population, you know, factors of Lagos. We now saying that maybe we'll be moving from one park to the other or move to different office, because even both some airlines are even doing it. You see some people passing by, you want to ease yourself, just balance in one corner and do whatever you want to do without even considering anybody is looking at you. So those are the areas that I believe that the Lagos State government will still be able to improve more so that we can have a very serene environment and convenient society. Thank you very much, sir.
Wow, thank you so much. So he's made specific mention of the public utilities around Beggar in Lagos. And this is the kind of contributions that I really appreciate the most, because these are grounded. These are from concrete examples out there. And I know that in the Western world, for example, if you were going, so even if you were pressed, you just ran, all you need to do, just get down from your car, go into a McDonald's or a KFC or a Burger King, or, you know, some of those public food outlets, and, you know, these are things that are incorporated into their system around there. And if you're driving on the motorway, which we call the expressway in Nigeria, all you need to do is just stop at some point stop at the services, the toilets and all these things. So you're saying that before government can, what Comrade Adetifa just said is that, you know what, before government can actually start talking about clamping down on people, that government itself as well should think of, I'll come to you, Kenny, I can see your hand up, think of putting in place an enabling environment whereby all these facilities will be available. And then, you know, so let me go to Joshua. Joshua, have you got anything to say to this? After Joshua, I have to go back to Kenny, then Ayole, and then the Sergeant, and that will be it for today. Joshua, have you got any contributions on this? Okay, I believe not. So, Joshua, okay, I don't think there's anything from Joshua's end. So let me let you ask you, so that just in case it's related to whatever the answers that Comrade Lukman might want to give much later. So, DSG2, go on.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Good evening once again, sir. I want to thank you, Mr. Convener, especially for bringing in Honourable Desmond. You know, there is no better way of providing access to these people in government. There is no better way than what you have done. You know, we may take the first one as a mistake or just as an accident. But doing it the second time today shows that there is a commitment. And that implies and that tells a lot about what Plaid is trying to do. Bringing people in government, down to the people. We are holding the government of Lagos State accountable tonight by this meeting. Although Honourable Desmond said he's not speaking for the government, but whatever idea, anything we may introduce or we have introduced to him tonight, I believe that we work on them. So this must continue, sir. The Lord is your strength. I just want to commend you that thank you for bringing governance closer to the people. And thanks for this opportunity to interact with people in government. Indirectly, we are interacting with the president, we are interacting with the governor, and we are interacting with some of them that ordinarily we not have access to. And also, somebody said, I think I heard that, somebody said that people are being careless about, people are being irresponsible because the government also is not showing commitment in some part. I like to disagree with that. Although I know that when the leaders derail, followers also will lose focus. But then the Constitution is clear enough about the obligations of citizens, about the obligations, the duties, and the obligations of citizens. So the obligation, the Constitution, the drafters of the Constitution, the drafters of our law, they had it in mind that there will be leaders. They had it in mind. They knew there would be reckless abandonment of issues of governance by some people, whether then, today, or in future. But that never stopped them from clearly stating the obligations of the citizens. One of the obligations is that people must pay their tax. So if we are taking leaders responsible for not doing what they are supposed to do, we are questioning them. We should also question ourselves. Governor Sanwo-Olu will not arrest everybody who breaks law in Lagos, because the prison, the cells cannot contain it. All citizens who break law. And even if there are prisons, there are cells that can contain them, it is these people, we Nigerians, that will complain that the governor or that the president is putting his own people or their own people inside cell. So everybody must be responsible. Everybody must do what he is supposed to do. Let me do my part. The slogan should be, I do my part, you do your part. Not that you do your part, I don't do my part. I do my part, you do your part. Let us all do our own part, and then Nigeria will be a better place. We are tired of people running abroad. 2 weeks ago or some days ago, Saudi Arabia came to Nigeria to take our doctors. And I asked a question that even if they were going to do it, it should not be, in a physical place like that. Those who want to go to Saudi Arabia should travel to Saudi Arabia to do interview. It is not that people from here will come to Abuja or will come to Lagos and then gather Nigerians. It is a slap. The breaches on our sovereignty. And these people, to them, they are not making it appear like they are coming to help Nigeria. No, they are not coming to help Nigeria. And of course, they are not helping Nigeria, but that they are also, if Nigerians do not have value to them, they will not come here. There are people in Cameroon, there are doctors in Cameroon, there are doctors in Libya, there are doctors in Liberia. So they should go there. So if Nigerian doctors want to go to Saudi Arabia to practice, they should go there. Better still, let Saudi Arabia, conduct Zoom interview for them. So when I heard that they had been stampeded and that the DSS said the interview would no longer continue, it did not even bother me. Although people said what they needed to say, but it did not bother me. The interview could hold on Zoom, via Zoom. This is an information technology. We are holding a seminar. This is a seminar. We are holding our program. We have been holding our programs online. I have done series of interviews online. I have conducted, I have done exams online. So let them do it. So why coming to Abuja?
Thank you so much.
But Nigerians like to shift responsibilities. Every time it is a leader who is not responsible. As a matter of fact, in the minds of so many people, all followers, people who are not in government, everyone who is not in government is a responsible citizen. But it is from these people who are not in government that we usually find people who will be sent to polling units to disrupt election. No senator will go to polling unit to disrupt elections. It is from these people who are not leaders, who are not in government, that will find, them holding guns, killing one another, stealing in Oshodi. People who are not in government. Everyone who is not in government is a responsible Nigerian by the definition of something.
Thank you so much, Comrade Kenny. It's in fact the way it is. I'm thinking that one of these days we must, we spoke about our internal, but basically even on the public, because we need to. You've spoken about many things tonight that I really want to interrogate, and maybe not just me alone. I believe you hit on some very deep topics tonight, and Comrade Kenny will be looking to make you one of the guests on a panel. Maybe our slot for September is fully booked, so we're hoping that sometime in early October we'll be able to do that. And Comrade Kenny, I need you, please just put that in your calendar, because
thank you, sir.
I will get you on quite a lot of this perspective. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. I'm just quickly going to go back to Ayole, and then after that, straight to our section, and that will be the end of it for tonight, because we need to close. I don't want it to be 8 o'clock before we close. Ayole, the section has put some chat in terms of he did write it. With due apologies to our VIO and other vehicle inspection agencies, they emphasize more on the levies from the trucks and buses rather than sanity on the road. Lawlessness and illegal parking along APAPA Expressway negate any seriousness from the law enforcement agencies. So they would rather task the tablet drivers for Ebunje taxi drivers, I believe, than ensuring law and order. Ayole, in Comrade Lukman, in about 2 minutes, have you got it?
Thank you, sir. Sir, let me speak on behalf of the VIS. To be sincere with you, we should ask ourselves one question: why are people afraid of VIO on Lagos Road? If Lagos VIO are collecting money from them, why are they afraid of them? There are many instances that you will stop a vehicle even on the road, that the vehicle will want to hit you as a VIO officer rather than stop. The problem is, like Kenny have said, sir, our people, they prefer to break the law than to obey the law. Under Ambode government, there are noise that VIO is weak. Is this okay? They stop VIO from the road. We now brought an idea that okay, if we are not on the road, there should be a camera capturing vehicles without particulars that are plying Lagos Road. Those cameras are in strategic places in Lagos State. But we discovered that most of the vehicles that the camera captured to have drive without particular vehicle, without the vehicle particular validated, most of them are to report to any VIS office close to them for the fine. But none of them, most people will not come. And most of those public transports and even the private ones, they will tell you, VIO is not on the road. They won't renew their vehicle particulars. Most of them will be driving without driving license. When Sanwo-Olu now came back that was the you will see many people are glorifying Ambode that doing Ambode they stop VIO now, it's only Bodeba. It's because of this. Because our people, they are not ready to obey. They are not ready to do the necessary things. VIO is now back on the road. Okay, Lagos say now build a testing center again. That after your roadworthiness, after you've paid for roadworthiness, you go for free for vehicle test without any payment at all. And they will give you the results of your vehicle that, okay, maybe the alignment is not good or the brake, go and fix it. They are not holding your vehicles down. They will give you the result. They will print it out. It's a computer test. Millions of money were spent in each of those testing centers, and they are very close to us. We have at Bega, we have at Okoba here for people in Niju and so on. We have at Badagaya, we have in Atikoju and so many other places like that. But you still discover that people they are not going there after registering there, and it's for free. They won't go for those tests. That is why we see most of these breakdown of vehicles on the road. And when they break down, last man is trying to arrest them or do anything, people will be complaining. That is Nigerians for you. We know how to, I'm not always on the side of government, to be sincere with you. But the truth of it is, we know how to criticize government, most of us. But we don't know how to do the right thing as a citizen. So there are many instances like that. VIO will not be on the road collecting 500 naira to 200 naira. Many people are aware of it. That is why most of them they run away. Few months ago, one of our officers was hit by a vehicle.
Wow.
And that's why they'll be running away. Was it last week or 2 weeks ago? A man wanted to break our side mirror, our windscreen, because he was driving without valid document. Okay, we told him, sir, let's go to our office. You can't be driving without a valid document. All your particulars have expired. The man said, I can't go to your office. This and that. And the driving license is with us. Said, I can't go to your office. I can't do this. We should settle it here. Settle what? We can't, there's not to say you go to the office and we have a ticket there, we have to ticket them. That is the price to pay when you disobey traffic rules. I'm telling you, this man wanted to fight us. On that spot, we have to leave, because if anything should generate at that particular moment, everybody that is coming down there will say, they only too much. They will continue to make troubles to fight the officers. We have to leave that spot. When we were even leaving, the man was about to break our windscreen.
Wow.
So those are the challenges we face.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So there are many things like that, sir. But maybe next time we'll be able to talk.
Yeah, thank you so much, because I said we'll finish and this is 1 minute to 8. So I want to thank you. I know that Francisca Unwobodo, he said she's raising up I had already given my word. Okay, Francisca, can you just take 2 minutes? It won't be. This is the first time you're actually coming on. I know you've complained of internet issues in the past, and thank God you're able to join today. So 2 minutes, and then the sergeant will give his perspective and round up the session for us. So, Francisca, unmute and go on, please. Francisca Wobodo. Just check your system. You should be unmuted. Just check. Hello, Francisca. Can you hear us now? Francisca. Hello, Francisca. Okay, so what I'm gonna go to Francisca, I apologize. I will have to go to the segment. We're not getting any audio from your end. I know I just
send a message and talk.
Okay, that's fine. Whatever question or comment you have, we're going to be bringing back. Let's go to.
All right.
Oh, Francisca, yes, go on. Please go on. I think it's very poor. Hello, go on. Okay, so we'll leave it. We'll leave it at that, Francisca. You know, we would. You know what? We're going to give you the chance to network. I know it's really poor. That's fine. Let's just go straight away to the section. Section, please round up today's session for us. Let's.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Convener. I really want to appreciate Hello, can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, but it's very. But just go on.
Okay, I think it's better now. Yes, I said I sincerely want to appreciate our leadership dexterity on this webinar and how well you've been able to coordinate this session. And I sincerely appreciate Honourable Desmond Elliot for how far and how well he was able to discuss the issue relating to environment in Lagos State and the hope of turning Lagos State into a mega city. And having interrogated the opinions and comments from an in-house members, the only thing that we just want to say is that our government should be of law rather than of men. And that is the only way we can have a better Nigeria. That's the only way our laws can be effective. That's the only way we can try as much as possible and in making sure that we get the dreams of our society at every point in time. It's until when we try as much as possible to prioritize law above men and ensure that nobody is above the law. It's until then that we can get Nigeria on a sound footing of progress. I want to sincerely appreciate all our in-house panels, our in-house members, everyone who have been able to join us on this session this evening. And I sincerely, at the same time, want to appreciate our social media audience, people who joined us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on some other social media platforms. We sincerely appreciate you, and we thank you for your continued cluing into us and being a co-partner in us transforming our country to be a better nation. I thank everybody for joining us once again, and I wish everyone a very fruitful and a wonderful new week. Thank you, and God bless you all.
So much, everyone. See you again next Sunday when we have Dr. Adeoye Oyewole, the head of Department of Psychiatry of the Ladoke Akintola University of Technology, teaching hospital in Osogbo, Osun State, discussing Nigeria as well. Have a wonderful week ahead. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.